We are seeing Bonk make a key move right as we're also seeing some much more promising macro things starting to happen within the crypto space. So I want to talk about that today. First off, we'll talk about the move that Bonk is making right now, and then we'll discuss some of the other things that are happening in the wider crypto market that could actually signal that we are only just getting started with Bonk coin. So we're going to go ahead, we'll talk about all of it. First off though, as I mentioned, let's take a quick look at the chart here because we can see something pretty cool is happening right now where we're actually breaking out of this kind of like ascending wedge that we have seen. I didn't draw the bottom of it, but it's basically like that. Is kind of a rough approximation of it. We're breaking right out of this ascending wedge right now, which generally is a good thing, and it does usually mean some really strong price movement when this type of thing is broken out of. So we can see here, this candle still does need to close kind of outside of this ascending wedge for it to be confirmed. There is also always the possibility that we do kind of a break and then a retest and then a break again. So always be prepared for that possibility. But at least from what we're seeing right now out of Bonk, things are looking good. I haven't personally opened up a leverage position on this yet, just because I want to see one, where this candle closes, and then also see if there is that possibility that we do kind of come back down, do a retest and see a bounce. To me, if we do a break and a retest, that would be kind of the highest likelihood and highest risk to reward type of trade to make. Where if we go here, there is always that possibility that there is a fake out, we get rejected, and then we do actually hit our stop loss, which I'm not super inclined to want to do. So, but what we can see here is this is overall looking really good from a structural perspective. It does look like we are seeing a nice break, though we are getting to the top of the Bollinger Bands. And if we look at the volume, we can see the volume is starting to spike. So it is good that we are seeing some pressure and momentum coming to the upside, but we are much lower than what we were seeing kind of back here in volume. So we need this to kind of continue to recover and see more and more volume coming back into the Bonk ecosystem. But at least for right now, I do think things are looking good. This is a nice and strong technical play, and we'll just have to see kind of, as I mentioned, where the candle closes and if we see a retest before a bounce off of that. So that is what we're seeing. That's what I'm personally looking for before entering a Bonk trade. I just want to update you guys, we did actually get out of our Athena trade. Our take profit did actually hit. As I mentioned, I did take a little bit of profits kind of as we popped up into this like kind of 73-cent range, I think is where we were. Yeah, I think when we saw this initial pop, I basically set my stop loss below at like 72 cents. We took profits about 74, and then I left the other half to try and hit our take profit, which it did. And right now it's actually looking like Athena might be continuing to break out. But you can see here a nice little 410% gain. So pretty nice there. We were talking about this on the channel for quite a while. I mean, this trade was probably open at least for a week or two. So there was definitely plenty of time to be involved in this trade. If you are interested, of course, you do need to make your own decisions there. But as you can see here, I am trading on Weex. I also have links in the description below for BloFin as well as BTCC. BTCC does currently kind of have that best referral bonus with that 10% bonus guaranteed, which is really nice. It's a fantastic deal that you can only get if you use my link in the description below. But also Weex is another fantastic platform. It is one that I generally prefer to trade on, and it also has some truly outstanding rewards as well, though BTCC with that guaranteed money, it's really hard to beat. So overall, feel free to kind of make your own decision with whatever you decide to do there. But in my opinion, Athena, that was a really great trade. We finally hit that. We'll probably be trading Athena again. This has been one that's been really nice to trade just because it's volatile, but it also moves in a somewhat predictable-ish pattern. So I have really enjoyed trading that one, and I will keep you updated if we get into a Bonk trade. As I've mentioned, the chart's looking good. We are seeing that kind of descending wedge breakout. Ideally, if we kind of see that break and retest, that is exactly when I would be looking to get in. That would be a very kind of low risk, high reward type of play. And so that's what I'll be looking for. Again, stay tuned to the channel, hit that subscribe, also hit that notification bell if you are wanting to stay tuned so you can keep up to date with all the different trades that we are making as we're trying to go in and make money in this crypto market. Now, moving back to talking about kind of what we're seeing out of Bonk and why I'm saying that this could just be the very beginning here is because if you look here, we're seeing a couple of different things. The first thing that we are seeing is ETH Bitcoin. ETH Bitcoin, of course, has kind of fallen back a little bit, meaning Bitcoin is getting stronger relative to ETH. But we've actually seen it hold a key level, which is kind of this like previous high level. The lows, of course, have technically dropped below like the absolute peak highs from what we saw from that initial run up, but they've held this key support level at that 0.038 range. And just so you all are aware, if you've been following from the channel, or if you've been following the channel for a while, these lines I have not moved at all. I've not touched them. These lines, I basically drew all of them when we initially broke this kind of first 0.26 range, just to show you that this ETH Bitcoin structure is actually respecting the structure very, very well. You can see we had a lot of difficulty getting through this 0.32 range. We broke it. We had kind of this like difficult like liquidity zone to get through. You can see we got rejected on the bottom one the first time, kind of got wicked up above, but then got rejected again on the top one, and then we actually sent right through it, but then have come down and settled on the top of these kind of two close ranges. And then now the next one that we're going to be taking aim at is 0.04. As I mentioned, we were above it kind of momentarily, but that's going to be, I think that what we're seeing right now is actually a completely okay thing to see. We are kind of cooling down a little bit, letting the kind of leverage wipe from the market, letting people chill out a little bit. I think all of this is really good to see, but it's obvious to see that the structure remains intact, which is of course what we're looking to see. And likewise, we're seeing something similar with Bitcoin dominance. We saw that break of this trend line. We saw kind of the bounce, the retest of this higher 62% trend line, which had been a pretty significant level in the past. We went right back down through that, did a little bit of kind of a momentary test of kind of this 60-ish range, but then we've essentially just been continuing down and continue to push down after a little bit of a recovery here. So again, this is a good thing. I will say though, if we were to see Bitcoin dominance continue to go up due to Bitcoin's price actually increasing, I think that would be okay, right? Because a higher Bitcoin price means that's better basically for all the alts. There's a higher watermark for us to hit. There's going to be a longer cycle in which more people are interested and the prices get higher. That means kind of the way or the amount that altcoins can go up does of course increase as well. At least generally that's how it's been in the past. We can't ever count on anything for certain. But again, all that we're seeing here is these structures continue to hold and they continue to be moving in the right directions, which again, as I mentioned with Bonk being a meme coin, this is an incredibly positive thing because with Bonk being a meme coin, it's of course very, very volatile and it does the best in the most frothy markets. And we really haven't actually seen much of a frothy market in, at least we'll say, the previous 8 months of 2025. Early January was, of course, kind of leading up until Inauguration Day. That was, in fact, a little bit frothy. Most of it happening, though, in kind of late 2024. The rest of 2025 has really not actually been that frothy or bullish or kind of greed-based at all. We have seen kind of some momentary rotations where we have seen some of that change, or at least change a little bit, but we haven't actually got into anything too crazy. And here we can actually see on the altcoin season chart exactly that, right? I mean, we were here in altcoin season for a very short period of time in December of 2024. As I mentioned, things were still kind of running through January. But then you could see very, very quickly falls off where we fall into a months-long Bitcoin season. And now we've started to kind of climb up a little bit. We have actually been kind of consistently climbing, which is a good thing to see. It's showing a stable buildup to alt season rather than this kind of very unsustainable like peak right into alt season and then falling right back out. I think this is a good thing to see. I think even if we were to see this kind of come back down a little bit, maybe into the 40s or 50s, not at all a big deal. I think this would be largely seen on the back of Bitcoin rising. We haven't really seen that happen from Bitcoin quite yet, but if we were to see that happen from Bitcoin, I think that's how we would see something like this happen. And then of course we could kind of move right back up into altcoin season. But generally what we've seen out of Bitcoin season, where we kind of see it slowly building in and then it sustains it for a period of time, that's ideally what we want to see out of alt season, but we do need the economic conditions to be right to see that. But when that does happen, I think Bonk is one that is going to do incredibly well. I made a video actually about both Bonk and Pengu and kind of comparing and contrasting them. I think regardless of whichever one you hold, I think you're going to do very, very well. Again, this is just purely my opinion. I have no way of knowing for sure. My crystal ball has been misplaced somewhere mistakenly, so I cannot tell you for sure what exactly is going to happen. but I do think both of them will do incredibly well in an alt season type of environment. So I'm watching both very, very closely. Now, I also want to take a look here, going back to CoinGecko, we can see this is, of course, kind of the overall stats of Bonk. We can see another key piece that Bonk has that many other types of meme coins try to have, but maybe aren't necessarily super effective at using, is kind of their burn mechanism. We can see the total supply here. I believe this started at 100 trillion. We are now just shy of 88 trillion. So almost 12% of the total supply has indeed been burnt, which I think is absolutely insane news. And if we are to continue to see a lot of the Bonk ecosystem continue to be developed and fleshed out, we could see these burns continue to increase. Bonk Swap, of course, has been very successful and been a key player in burning a lot of Bonk tokens. We've also seen things like there's a new gambling thing. I think it's called Gambler. If you wager with Bonk, essentially 15% of the house edge goes to the burn pile for the Bonk tokens. So there's a lot of different things trying to kind of incorporate different burn mechanisms with Bonk. And I think that if we see this continue to both increase adoption in terms of new projects trying to do this, as well as the existing projects continue to gain popularity, this will of course be a huge thing for Bonk. So this is another thing that I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on, is just what is the total supply and the max supply doing here. The circulating supply, of course, we do have a little bit of dilution to come here, but this is not the end of the world, at least in my opinion. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I do think that Bonk is one that we've seen kind of in the short immediate term. We're seeing a really, really nice structure, and I think long term it's definitely a great one that I'm looking to be holding and DCing into, all of that type of good stuff, because I do really think that Bonk will see some pretty insane gains if we do go into an alt season. Now again, with all meme coins, you might hear I'm saying maybes and ifs and all that type of things a lot. That's just how meme coins are, right? I mean, when meme coins go, or when the crypto market goes up, the meme coins go way, way, way up, right? But if the crypto market doesn't really see that same type of like frothiness or kind of bump in the market, well, then we're just probably not going to see that same thing from meme coins as well. They kind of thrive and are at their best in a max greed type of environment. And so if we never get there, then we're probably not going to see that happen for these meme coins. So that's just kind of something to keep an eye on and keep in mind when we are talking about some of these potential outcomes. A lot of it truly is needing kind of a max greed type of environment. So overall, hopefully you found the information in the video useful. If you did, of course, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that type of good stuff. And then also drop me any comments that you might have. I'd be interested to know what you think about Bonk. Do you think it's going to outperform Pengu? Do you think Pengu's a better option? Do you think Doge is still king? What do you think? And also, I'd love to hear kind of what your thoughts are about the whole burn mechanism as well. Will it keep up? Will they be able to do what SHIB holders have been trying to do for years? Let's see. I don't know. I'd love to hear all your comments. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.